Hello, hello. I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Judging based upon the title of this video, I'm going to make the bold assumption that you are here to learn how to make a little bit of income flying one of these. And for those of you who've never seen one of these and don't know what this is a drone. But before we get into all the things that you need to do and know, first things first, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you've never seen my face, never seen one of my videos, my name is McKenna. I own a digital media company called Studio SB Creatives. And today, like I said, we're going to be covering all the things that you need to do and the things that you need to know in order to start earning income flying drones. So, first things first, can you just go out in the world, get a drone, start flying, and making money from it? And the answer to that is absolutely not. In order to actually start making money flying drones, you have to go through a process with the FAA where you take a test and get what's called your Part 107. And a Part 107 is just a license that allows you to fly drones for commercial purposes. So, what does that process look like? Well, it's as like any other test in the world, any driving test, any written tests. You are provided with a bunch of information through a training program, and then you go into a physical test center, you take a written test, and then upon passing that test, you are issued a temporary and then a full-fledged plastic license. So yeah, it's basically that simple in theory. In practice, it's a little bit more difficult because there are a lot of technical things that you have to learn and understand in order to pass the Part 107 exam. And today we're going to be covering those things, not in a detailed way. This is not a training video. This is just an overview to give people who are interested in earning income flying drones an idea as to what they can expect in the testing process in order to get licensed. So what are those things that you're going to need to understand? It actually goes just beyond understanding drones and where you can fly them and where you can't fly them. Because the testing process and because the licenses are issued through the FAA, you actually have to have a pretty standard understanding of aviation terminology and how things work in the world of aviation and flight, even though it seems like you'd just be able to throw it up in the air, take some photos or video, and then get a check. I was surprised when I started studying for my Part 107 how intense it was and how many things I had to learn. So, what are a few things that I had to learn in order to get issued a license to be able to make money flying drones? Because you have to have a basic understanding of aviation, you have to understand things such as the different types of airspace. You have to understand how to read METARs, which are weather reports in aviation that talk about winds and weather such as rain or clouds or sunny days, whatever. You have to understand radio frequencies so that you can tune in and hear what the other pilots are talking about and the control towers are saying over the radio waves. Aviation maps, which talk about, again, different types of airspace and things that might be happening in that airspace, such as military training activities and things of that nature. You're also going to need to understand not only how drones work, you'll also need to understand how planes work, such as things like pitch and yaw, how thrust is affected by weight. You'll also need to know things about what the regulations are when flying a drone, how high you can fly, how far away you can fly. Sometimes you'll encounter situations where you might need to fly in restricted airspaces, and you'll have to learn the process of going to get approval to fly in those areas. And you'll also need to understand the processes in which you have to go through in order to even begin flying, such as, checking your gear, making sure that if there's multiple people, that they all have their job and they know exactly what they're supposed to do. It really is kind of intense and intimidating when you start going through the training programs, all the information that is thrown at you, because there's a good chance that your aviation knowledge is very, very, very limited to begin with. And then you'd think that you would just be able to learn the true basics of flight and just be able to go out there, take a test on it, and then get licensed. But it really isn't that simple. Again, it is in theory, just not in practice, because you'll need to understand how weather affects flight. You'll need to know when you can and when you can't fly in certain types of weather. You'll need to know things about cold fronts and the different types of clouds and what weather affects air stability. Like, it's kind of crazy the amount of things that you need to learn and understand in order to get licensed, because it's not just a rogue memorization type of test. There are training programs that provide information that is very similar to how it will appear on the written test, but it's never exact. You know, wording can change and numbers can change and things can change. So it's like, as much as you think memorizing this information will help you, having a true understanding of how these things work is going to be the key in actually passing that exam. That might seem kind of obvious, but to be honest, when I went in there to take my test, I wasn't sure that I knew the information as confidently as I thought I did, because when I started reading through the test and seeing all the technical little changes that were in there, you know, it was kind of daunting. And I thought I did really bad on my test. Like, I wasn't sure how many I actually got right just based on the actual verbiage that the tests were written with. But I think I ended up getting like a 94, which is great. I think you only need like a 70 or 75 to actually pass. So it's like you can make some mistakes, but your best bet is to actually understand what you're being asked and how to answer it. And overall, in my personal opinion, you know, if you go through the training programs and you do everything and you take probably 2 or 3 weeks to fully understand and grasp the concepts that are being trained, you should have no problem passing. But in order to start flying drones, you actually need to have that Part 107 in order to make money from it and do it commercially, whether you're flying for real estate or for construction companies or for inspections on towers or whatever it may be. Having a Part 107 is what you need to do in order to make money flying drones. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to discuss anything further or have any questions regarding the tests or getting your Part 107, go ahead and leave me a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, you want to see what crazy adventures I get up to in the future, because there will be some crazy adventures in the future. Or if you just want to see more of my face, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, I will see you on the next one.